Hello students, welcome back. Today we'll study experiment number 8, that is Bellman-Ford algorithm. Let's look into the problem statement. The problem statement says, write a program to find the shortest path between vertices using Bellman-Ford algorithm. So we have to find the shortest path between the vertices in a given graph, that is in a given weighted graph, using Bellman-Ford algorithm. Let's understand how this Bellman-Ford algorithm works to find the shortest path. The Bellman-Ford algorithm is based on single source shortest path. Okay, so given a weighted graph, we need to find the shortest path between the single source to all the other vertices in a given weighted graph. So it computes the shortest path from single source vertex to all the other vertices in a given weighted graph. Bellman-Ford algorithm works well for both positive as well as negative weights. So this Bellman-Ford algorithm is based on the principle of relaxation. That is, we have to keep on relaxing all the edges. Okay, we have to keep on relaxing all the edges eventually till we reach an optimum solution. So till where we keep on relaxing all the edges, we have to keep on relaxing all the edges gradually, that is for n minus 1 times if there are n vertices in a given graph. If n is the number of vertex or the vertices, we have to do this principle of relaxation, that is we have to keep on relaxing all the edges till n minus 1 times to get the shortest path from the single source to all the vertices in a given graph. If we do relaxation for the nth time, as I said, we have to do relaxation only for n minus 1 times. If we do the relaxation for the nth time, there will not be any change. By the time we finish relaxing n minus 1 time, we'll get the optimum solution. So it works well for both the positive as well as negative weight. So let's understand how this relaxation works, or what is the rule of this relaxation. The relaxation rule for any given pair of vertex, that is u and v, is the distance of source plus the cost between the source and the vertex. If it is less than the distance of the destination, then update the destination distance with the distance of source plus the cost between the source and the destination. Let's understand this with an example. If A is the source node and B is the destination node or the destination vertex, what is the rule? Distance of source, that is distance of A, plus cost between A and B if it is less than the distance of destination. So what is the distance of A? Initially we have to choose a source node within a given graph. Now this is a given weighted graph. As I said, it works well for both positive and negative weights. So given a graph, we have to choose the source node. S here indicates A is the source node or the source vertex, and B, D, C and E are all the destination nodes. So totally there are 5 nodes. Initially we have to specify the distance of the source node as 0 and the distance of all the other node to infinity initially. And we have to keep on changing the distance of all the other vertices till we get the shortest path or the optimum solution. How many times we keep on updating this? We have to keep on updating this, that is the relaxation rule, till n minus 1 times. So we keep on doing this relaxation rule for all the vertices for 4 times since there are 5 vertices in a given graph. So what is the distance of A? As I said, distance of source, initially we consider it as 0. So it is 0. What is the cost between A and B? Cost between A and B is 6. So it is plus 6. If it is less than distance of B, what is the distance of B? As I said, distance of all the other node will be considered as infinity. So distance of destination, that is B, is infinity here. If this condition is satisfied, that is 0 plus 6, 6 less than infinity. If this condition is true, then update the distance of the destination, that is d of b, with this value. So what is the distance of destination? Distance of source plus cost of AB. Distance of source is 0, cost of AB is 6. So we update the distance of B with 6. So your infinity becomes 6. Like this, keep on doing for all the vertices. How many times? N minus 1 times. So it is sometimes before n minus 1 time itself you get your optimum solution. But to verify whether it's not changing, we have to keep on doing this till n minus 1 time to get the optimum solution or the shortest path. Now let's look into the steps. So the first step is initialize the distance from the source to all the vertices as infinite and the distance to the source itself as 0. So initialize that is all the vertices as infinity, that is infinite, and distance to the source as 0. Now calculate the shortest distance. So how do you calculate the shortest distance? You have to do the following. If there are v vertices, you have to do relaxation for v minus 1 times if there is v is the number of vertex in a given graph. So keep on doing the relaxation for v minus 1 times. So what is the relaxation rule? Distance of source plus the cost between the source and the destination. If it is less than distance of destination, then update your distance of destination with distance of source plus cost of u and v, that is the source and destination. So keep on doing this relaxation rule. If there are v vertex, keep on doing this for v minus 1 time to get the shortest path from single source, that is u, to all the other vertices in a given graph. I'll come back to this, but here this negative weight cycle later. Okay, let's understand this with an example. Now initially this is our weighted graph. Okay, this is our weighted graph. We have initialized, we have considered A as a source node and all these are the destination nodes. Initially specify the source node distance as 0 and all the other destination sources infinity. That is the first step. What is the second step? Find the shortest path from the single source to all the other vertices in a given graph. Now before that, you just specify the nodes, all the nodes in a given graph. Okay. So what are the vertices here? What are the different vertices? A to B. Then we have vertex A to C. We have to find the distance between these vertices. So between A and B, A and C, specify all the edges. AB, then BD, CE, CB, CD. So how many vertices? I have listed all the edges here. Okay. Now let's find the shortest path between the source to all the edges. So initially I'll find the shortest path between A and B. So using this relaxation rule. So what is the relaxation rule? D distance of V, here I have considered it as again greater than, it is same. Distance of, if you write it less than, So I've made the changes to the relaxation rule so that there's no confusion. Okay. Now let's begin. What is the first step? Initialize the distance of source to 0 and all the other vertices to infinity. So the distance of all the other vertices is infinity here. Okay. Now we have to find the shortest path using the relaxation rule. So how many vertices do we have here? We have how many vertex? 5 vertex, correct? So how many times we have to perform iteration? 5 minus 1 times. So we'll do this a relaxation rule. We do relaxation rule for all the edges. How many times? 4 times. By the time we finish 4 times, we get the optimum solution or the shortest path. So we have listed all the edges. Let's begin doing relaxation for the first iteration. So let's find the shortest path between A and B. So what is the relaxation rule? Distance of source plus the cost between the source and destination. If it is less than distance of destination, then update the distance of destination with distance of source plus cost between source and destination. So what is the distance of source? 0. What is the cost between source and destination? 6. What is the distance of destination? Infinity. Is this condition true? If it is true, update the distance of destination with distance of source plus the cost between the source and destination as 6. So is 0 plus 6 less than infinity? True. Make the changes. Update it. Distance of source plus cost between the source and destination if it is less than distance of destination. Then between A and C. So distance of source is 0. Cost between source and destination is 5. Is it less than distance of destination? Is 0 plus 5 less than infinity? True. Make the changes. Next, between C and B. C and B. What is 5 minus 2? 3. Is 3 less than 6? True. Make the changes. Between C and D. C and D. What is 5 plus 4? 9. Is 9 less than infinity? True. Make the changes. Then C and D is over. C and D. What is 5 plus 3? 8. Is 8 less than infinity? True. Make the changes. Then between D and B and D. What is the distance? Distance of source 3. Cost is minus 1. Destination distance is 9. Is 3 minus, what is 3 minus 1? 2. Is 2 less than line? Yes. Make the changes. D and E. What is D distance? 2. Cost is 3. 2 plus 3 is 9. Sorry, 2 plus 3 is 5. Is 5 less than 8? Yes. Make the changes. So, we are done with the first iteration. We have made the changes to all the edges. So, we have applied relaxation rule for all the edges. During the first iteration, what is the distance between the source to all the other vertices? It is between source to this vertex is 3, between source to this vertex is 2, between the source A to C is 5 and source A to E is also 5. Now let's do the relaxation for the second iteration. So what is 0 plus 6? 6. Is 6 less than 3? No. If no, keep it as it is. What is 0 plus 5? 5. 5 less than 5? False. Keep it as it is. Then between C and B. What is 5 minus 2? 3. 3 less than 3? No. Keep it as it is. Between C and D. What is 5 plus 4? 9. 9 less than 2? No. Keep it as it is. Then between C and E. What is 5 plus 3? 8. 8 less than 5? No. Keep it as it is. Between B and D. What is 3 minus 1? 2. Is 2 less than 2? No. Keep it as it is. Between D and E. So what is D and E? 2 plus 3 is 5. Is there any change? 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 less than 5? No. There's no change. Keep it as it is. So we are done with the second iteration. Let's go with the third iteration. 0 plus 6. 6 less than 3? No. 0 plus 5. 5 less than 5? No. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 less than 5? No. 5 plus 4 is 9. 9 less than 2? No. 5 minus 2 is 3. 3 less than 3? No. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 less than 2? No. 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 less than 5? No. Keep it as it is. If you all notice, during the first iteration only we have find out all the op shortest path, that is the optimum solution. During the second iteration, none of these weights have changed. During the third iteration also there is no change. So that means we have already found our optimum solution. Let's see what happens if during the fourth iteration also if there is no change. This itself is the optimum solution. Now 0 plus 6, 6 less than 3, no. 3 minus 1, 2, 2 less than 2, no. 0 plus 5, 5, 5 less than 5, no. 5 plus 3 is 8, 8 less than 8, 8 less than 5, no. 5 plus 4 is 9, 9 less than 2, no. 5 minus 2 is 3, 3 less than 3, no. 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 less than 5, no. So we are done with the fourth iteration also. By the end of the fourth iteration, now what are the distance between the source and all the other vertices? Between A to A, it's 0. Is it 0? Yes. The distance between this source to itself is 0. What is the distance between A to B? A to B, it is 3. What is the distance between A to C? It is 5. What is the distance between A to D? It is 2. What is the distance between A to E? It's 5. So this is the shortest path between the single source A to all the other nodes in a graph. Between single source A to all the other nodes in a given graph, weighted graph. Okay. And here if you could notice, there is no direct path between A and D and A and D. E. Still we have found the shortest path. So if you could consider all this weight, 6 minus 1, 5. So 2 is shorter. So using this Bellman-Ford algorithm, again it is based on principle of relaxation. Using that, we'll find the shortest path when we do the relaxation or when we apply the relaxation rule for n minus 1 times if there are n vertices in a given graph. So this is how Bellman-Ford algorithm works. But what is the drawback in case of Bellman-Ford algorithm? We have a drawback. So what is the drawback here? As I told, if you could see this, if we iterate through all the edges one more time, that is, if I am doing iteration for n minus 1 time, if we do the iteration for one more time and we get a shorter path for any vertex, then there is a negative weight cycle. So this is the drawback in case of Bellman-Ford algorithm. So what is this negative weight cycle? Let's understand. So the drawback in Bellman-Ford algorithm is whenever a graph contains a negative cycle, it does not give the correct result. So how do I know whether my graph contains a negative cycle or not? So if there is any cycle form in your graph, if you can see, there is a cycle which is forming here. There is a cycle which forms here. So there is a cycle. And when you add all the weights, if you get a negative value, that means there is a negative cycle. So 7 plus 3 is 10. 10 minus 15 is minus 5. So whenever after adding all the three cost, if you get a negative cost, then we say we have a negative cycle in our graph. So whenever a Bellman-Ford algorithm contains a negative cycle, then it does not give you correct result. So how do you know whether it is giving you right answer or not? Let us do it manually. Okay, let's do it. So how many vertices we have? 4. So give correct results. It should give your, if A is the source node, so that is why I have specified the distance as 0, and for all the other vertices the distance as infinity. If A is the source node, how many times we apply relaxation rule? N minus 1 time. That is 4 minus 1 time we apply relaxation rule to get the optimum solution. So we do 3 iteration. So if we iterate through all the edges one more time, that is the 4th time, and after iterating through 4th time, if we get a shorter path for any vertex, then there is a negative weight cycle. So that is what we say. There is a negative weight cycle. Okay. If you can see, there is also this is not forming a cycle. So let's iterate from source A and C. So how many edges we have? A, B, right? Then AC, all the edges. List all the edges. Then BD, then BD is over. Then DC. Finally, we have CB. Okay. So these are the edges. Now what is the distance between A and B? 0 plus 4 less than infinity, true. 4 plus 3. Now AB is over AC. 0 plus 5. 5 less than infinity, true. Make the changes. Then BD. 4 plus 3, 7. 7 less than infinity, true. Make the changes. We are doing the first iteration, okay? Then DC. DC. 7 minus 15 is minus 8. So minus 8 is less than 5. Make the changes. Then C and B. Minus 8 plus 7. Minus 1. Minus 1 is less than 4. True. Make the changes. It's minus 1. Minus 1 is less than 4. So we are done with the first iteration. Let's do the second iteration. A and B. What is 0 plus 4? 4. 4 less than minus 1? No. Keep it as it is. A and C. 0 plus 5. 5 less than minus 8? No. Keep it as it is. B and D. What is minus 1 plus 3? It's 2. 2 less than 7? True. Make the changes. What is 2 minus 15? Minus 13. Is minus 13 less than minus 8? True. Make the changes. What is minus 13 plus 7? It's minus 6. Correct? So minus 6 less than minus 1? True. Make the changes. So we are done with second iteration. Let's go with the third iteration. What is 0 plus 4? 4. 4 less than minus 6? No. A and C. 0 plus 5. 5 less than minus 13? No. Minus 6 plus 3. What is minus 6 plus 3? Minus 3. Minus 3 less than 2? True. Make the changes. What is minus 3 minus 15? It's minus 18. Minus 18 less than minus 13? True. Make the changes. What is minus 18 plus 7? Minus 11. Minus 11 less than minus 6? Yes. Make the changes. So we are done with the third iteration. By now, none of the values should change. But if there is a negative weight cycle present, then when we go for the nth iteration, we have done with n minus 1 iteration. So whenever we go for nth iteration, the values will again change. If any one of the value changes, when we do the nth iteration or n plus 1th iteration, then there is a negative weight cycle in a given graph. So we don't get the correct results. So now let's do the nth iteration. Let's do this relaxation for one more time. 0 plus 4. 4. 4 less than minus 11? No. Minus 11 plus 3. Minus 8. Minus 8 less than minus 3? True. Make the changes. What is minus 8? Minus 8 minus 15? So what is minus 8 minus 15? Minus 8 minus 15 is minus 23. So is minus 23 less than minus 18? True. Make the changes. Did you all notice we are still the values are changing in the fourth iteration also. So what is minus 23 plus 7? Minus 16. Correct? Minus 16. Minus 16 less than minus 11? Yes. So, what are the distance between A to A? 0. Between A to B? minus 16. Between A to C, minus 23. And between A to D, it's minus 8 during the fourth iteration. During the third iteration, minus 11, minus 3 and minus 18 were the value. During the fourth iteration, it has changed. Now you do the one more iteration, again the values change. So whenever you get this value, you can say there is a negative weight cycle. So this is the drawback in case of Bellman-Ford algorithm. Now before we go to the program, I just want everyone to just solve these two graphs as well, this and this graph. Okay, now this is the one for which we have already solved, and we have calculated the shortest path between the source A to all the other vertices. So in the code when we go, so we have to begin like this. So we have to find the adjacency matrix there. So what is the changes or what is the input that we have to give to the code? So whenever you are implementing this Bellman-Ford algorithm, you cannot give your graph as an input, right? So I have to find an adjacency matrix for this and then give the adjacency matrix as an input to the program. Okay. So this is again a 2 cross 2 matrix. So how do we find the adjacency matrix? So before that, we first need to initially specify all the nodes. Here if you could notice the change, instead of specifying node A, B, C, D, E, I have just changed it to 1, 2, 3, 4 just for simplicity. Okay, so there are 5 nodes. So initially the distance of source node is 0 and all the other nodes, distance of all the other node is infinity. Instead of taking infinity, we have taken the value as 999. So the distance of all the other node is, initially it is 999. Now we have to apply the relaxation rule for 4 times and find out what are this value. We have to find the optimum value. Initially it is infinite we are considering. Later when we apply relaxation rule, we get the optimum solution. Okay. But how do I find the adjacency matrix? So what should be the input to the program? So input is an adjacency matrix. So first write all the nodes. Okay. So what will be the distance for the source node? That is the distance from 1 to 1, 0, distance from 2 to 2, 0, 4 to 4, 0, 3 to 3, 0, 5 to 5, 0. And if there is a direct path, specify that value. If no direct path, specify it as 0. Let's see. Distance between 1 to 1, 0. Distance between 1 to 2. What is the distance between 1 to 2? 6. Distance between 1 to 3, 5. Distance between 1 to 4. Is there any direct path? No. Specify it as 0. Distance between 1 to 5. No direct path. Specify it as 0. Next. Distance between 2 to 1. There is actually distance. We have path only from 1 to 2. No, not from 2 to 1. So 0. 2 to 2 as I said 0. 2 to 3. It's upward. Arrow is upward. So again 0. 2 to 4 minus 1. 2 to 5 no direct path 0. You're getting? Then 3 to 1 no direct. This arrow is from 1 to 3. So 0. 3 to 2 minus 2. 3 to 3 0. 3 to 4 4. 3 to 5 3. Like this you find for all the nodes. Now when will you apply your adjacent your relaxation rule? Will you apply your relaxation rule when there is no direct path? For example, will you apply relaxation rule for source and this node? No. You do only when there is a direct path like this between these two, between these two, between these two. We specify the edges, right? Initially, we will specify the edges. So, you will not apply the relaxation rule. So whenever there is no direct path, can we just update it as infinite, that is this value? Yes, we can do that. So that's what is done here. The change from this adjacency matrix to this adjacency matrix. Now you should not get confused, ma'am. Should we give this as an input while implementing, or we should give this as an input? Since we have written the code in such a way that even if you give this as an input in the program, whenever there is no direct path, we specify it as infinite. Okay, so it's left up to you. We can give this as an input, you will get the correct answer. If you give this as an input also, you will get the right answer. It is up to you now. So, but I am explaining you both. So as I said, distance between, if the source and the destination node are same, the value will be 0. Okay, and see, wherever you have values, we don't have to update it as infinity, and wherever the source and destination node is same, source is also 1, destination node is also 1, then we have 0. Whenever there is a different source and different are different, source is 1 and destination is 2. In that case, if the value is 0, then update that value with 999. That is a maximum value. We initially consider a variable called max value and initialize it to 999. Update it with 999. So where is that maximum value? You keep on updating in the adjacency matrix whenever your source and destination node are not same, and if the value is 0, those values you have to update it with maximum value. So here let's see, source and destination node is same, so no updation. And whenever, only if source and destination are different, and if the value is 0, only by then you make the changes. So here source is 1, destination is 4, and the value is 0, change it to 999 maximum value. Source is 1, destination is 5, value is 0, change it to max value. Source is 2, destination is 1, the distance is 0. Make it to 9 maximum value. Source is 2, destination is 2. So whenever source and destination are same, we keep it as it is. Getting? So whenever the source and destination is same, keep the value as it is. And whenever source and destination are different, and if the value is other than 0, do not make any changes. But when your source and destination are different, and if the value, that is the distance, is 0, change it to max value. Once you give this adjacency matrix as an input, either this or this, both works fine. Okay, you have to give either this adjacency matrix or this adjacency matrix as an input, and do the relaxation for these values and keep on updating. So once you update these values, finally you get the shortest path. So if you remember, initially this is the initial distance what we have considered. When we apply the relaxation rule, we get the final distance between the single source to all the other node. So that means we have to initialize an array called D for all the vertex to find the distance. Now let's understand this with the Java code. Meanwhile, please solve this Bellman-Ford algorithm for this as well as this graph so that you can understand it better. Okay, so let's move to the Java code. Make sure to check the negative weight cycle as well while implementing Bellman-Ford algorithm. Okay,
Let's understand the Java code. Here we have initialized three variables, an array to store the distance or to find the distance from source node to all the other vertices, number of vertices to store the value of vertices or the number of vertices, and maximum value as I had shown you, where like initially for source node the distance is 0 and for all the other nodes it is infinity. So we have taken the maximum value as 999. Let's go with the main method. So this distance is initially for source node it will be 0. I mean we are declaring an array to find the distance for all the other nodes. Okay, so it to keep track of that. Now in the main method we are initially considering or initializing the number of vertex to 0, taken the source node. We are asking user to enter the number of vertex. User will enter, and since we cannot give graph as an input, user will enter the number of vertices as 4, 5. That is the graph what we have considered here. So here in this graph we have 5 nodes, so we will enter number of vertex as 5. Okay. Now we cannot, since we cannot give graph as an input, we are giving adjacency matrix. So if you all remember, we have done the calculation for adjacency matrix. Either you can give this adjacency matrix as an input, or you can give this adjacency matrix as an input. Okay. Now user will enter the adjacency matrix. So while entering, again from where to where you will proceed? From source node 1 to the number of vertex, that is 5. Okay, this is to keep track of number of rows and number of columns. So it is a 2 cross 2 matrix. I hope all of you know how to initialize a 2 cross 2 matrix. So iterate through all the rows and column, that is the number of vertex. Okay, check if the adjacency of source and destination. Okay, you will enter whatever the input you are entering. If that, in case if the source is equal to destination, for example, let's consider here. See, now if after entering the source and the destination, if your source and destination is same, so this scenario. Okay, if it is same, that is if adjacency of source and destination, if it is 0, 1 comma 1 is 0, continue. Okay, continue with the same iteration, continue with the next iteration of the loop. Control will not come to this part. Okay, it continues with the next iteration, that is control goes to inner loop. Destination value is incremented. Now destination node becomes 2. Now in the adjacency of source comma destination, what is it? 6. So no, whatever you are entering 2 comma 2 value, sorry 1 comma 2 value, what is adjacency of 1 comma 2? Adjacency of 1 comma 2 is 6, but is source and destination same? Is source equal to destination node 1 equal to 2? No. Where the control comes? Control comes to this part. Adjacency of source and destination is 1 comma 2. Is 1 comma 2 equal to 0? No. If it is 0, if source and destination are different, and if the value is 0, you will update it with max value. If not, keep it as it is. Correct. So if it is not 0, again control goes to inner loop. Now destination becomes 3. Now adjacency of source comma destination. Is source equal to destination? No, definitely. What is adjacency of 1 comma 3? 5, which is not 0. Again the loop is, control goes to inner loop. Destination becomes 4. Is 1 equal to 4? No, control comes here. What is adjacency of 1 comma 0? Adjacency of 1 comma 0 is initially 0. If you all remember, just a minute, I'll make the changes. So see here, the distance between 1 and 4, the source and destination node are different, okay, and the value is 0. Whenever adjacency of source and destination is equal to 0, if it is equal to 0, if you have entered this matrix, okay. So in the program we are changing it to adjacency of source to max value. What is your max value we have considered? 99. Same applies to when the destination becomes 5. Source and destination 1 is not equal to 5, control comes here. What is adjacency of 1 comma 5? Again it is 0. Whenever adjacency of source and destination, if it is equal to 0 and source is not equal to destination node, and if the value is 0, replace it with max value. So like this loop repeats till we keep on iterating to all the edges, that is all the vertices. Okay, so this is the input that we have given. Now what we have to do? We have to do, or we have to find the relaxation rule. Okay, so see, enter the source node. So before you apply relaxation rule, we are asking user to enter the source node. Now, once the user enter the source node, we are going to here, just a minute, this has to come to next line. That's okay. Now see, we are calling a constructor, that is a parameterized constructor where we are passing number of values. Let me just go back to the normal code. So we are done with this. Okay. Now once the user enter the source code, the control goes to the parameterized constructor Bellman Ford where we are passing the number of vertex as 5. Okay, so the control goes to the parameterized constructor. So your class name is Bellman Ford. Where is your constructor? Bellman Ford. You are passing a formal argument. This is a formal argument. This is a class instance variable. And what are we doing here? Number of vertex, that is a formal value. We are copying it to this dot number of vertex. What is this? This is a keyword. It is a reference variable. So why do we use this? It is generally used to resolve the conflict. Initially, we are pointing to the formal argument. Whenever we need to copy the value of this formal argument to the class instant variable, we use this operator. No, sorry, this keyword. So it is mainly used to resolve the conflict. Okay. So whenever we have to copy the value from this formal argument to the class instant variable. Okay. So now we are referring to this particular memory location. So both the names are same. So whenever I copy to this particular memory location, or while pointing to this particular memory location, we need to make use of the keyword this. It's a reference variable. Okay. Referencing to this memory location. Then we copy that value, okay, that is 5, and we are creating an array of 5 memory location. Why we are creating this? We are creating this here, if you can check, to store the values, right, to change the values of an array. So array is created. Here we have taken it as distance. Where is it? Here, if you could notice, we have taken it as distance, but here we are taking it as d. Now the control comes after. See, we are only resolving conflict here, and the control comes back to the constructor. Now we are calling a function called Bellman Ford evaluation, where we are passing the source node and the adjacency matrix as an input. So what we'll do there in the function or in the method, we'll apply the relaxation rule till how many times? N minus 1 times. So where is the method? The method is here, source and the adjacency matrix. So initially node starts from 1. Now this is starting from node 1 till the number of vertex. Initially what did we do? What is our first step? Initialize the distance of all the nodes to max value and initialize source node to 0. So initialize all this distance of all the vertex to infinity and distance of source to 0. So that is what we are doing here. Correct. Max value, distance of all the node to max value, 5 nodes, and distance of source node to 0. Now do the iteration and apply relaxation rule. Starting from node equal to 1, how many times you have to go for iteration? N minus 1 time. If n is the number of vertex minus 1 time you have to go through iteration. Starting from source node 1, okay, source node 1 and the number of vertexes and from destination node 1, that is your adjacency matrix. The adjacency matrix what we have considered, this one. Okay, the outer loop is how many times we have to iterate. This is the number of rows and column, and we are checking if adjacency of source and destination, if it is not equal to max value. That means, see here, if the source and destination value, if it is not equal to max value, then we apply the relaxation rule. So if it is not equal to max value, adjacency of source and destination value is not equal to max value, it could be 0 also, then check the relaxation rule. Distance of destination greater than distance of source plus adjacency of source comma destination. What is your adjacency of source comma destination? It is the cost, the what we have entered here. These are all the costs, right? And the distance initially it is taken as 0 for source and infinity, that is max value for all the other nodes. Okay, so distance of destination is initially infinity greater than distance of source if it is for 1 0, and adjacency of source and destination is cost. So 0 plus 6, infinity greater than 0 plus 6, or if we had considered distance of source plus cost of source and destination less than distance of v. It is again written as reverse here. If this is true, update distance of destination node with distance of source plus adjacency of source and destination. So keep on doing. When will you apply this relaxation rule? Whenever your adjacency value, like here, you will not apply the relaxation rule whenever your source and destination node are different and it is having a max value. Only when it is not a max value, there you check the or apply the relaxation rule. Okay, so once we are done with that, now we have to check if there is a negative weight cycle in our graph or not. So here if you could notice, we are doing how many iterations? Only n minus 1 iteration. To know if there is negative graph or not, we have to do nth iteration. We have to do the one more iteration. So in this again we are doing the same process. Instead of starting or ending till n minus 1, that is number of vertex minus 1, we are performing one more extra iteration, that is n times. Okay, from starting from source to destination. Again we are checking the same relaxation rule. Okay, and if this condition is satisfied, means if the value is still changing, we say the graph contains, it's only, even if the one value changes, it is sufficient for us to tell that the graph contains a negative cycle. Okay, even if one of the value changes after doing n minus 1 iteration, when we go for the next iteration, even if the single value changes, that is sufficient for us to tell that the graph contains negative cycle. Okay, and once we are done with this, once the condition for the loop becomes false, and if the value is not changing, we keep on iterating, and when this loop terminates, that means there is no negative edge cycle. Okay, so if so, then print the distance, the shortest distance. So while doing this, your values in the adjacency matrix might have changed, that is the optimum value. Now we print that starting from vertex to 1 to number of vertex. Okay, we are printing distance of source to vertex is, so we have created this array distance, and starting from this vertex 1, see vertex 1, so what is there in distance of vertex 1? So whatever is the value, so initially it is initialized to infinity here, correct? Then whenever we apply adjacency matrix, the values keep changing and we get this value. So once you get this value, we are simply printing this value. That is what is done here. Okay, so once we are done with this, control comes here and we close the scanner. So let's look into the output. Enter the number of vertex Here there are 6 vertex. Enter the adjacency matrix. Here they have taken adjacency matrix with maximum value, but again it is optional. You can go with zeros as well. Then you need to enter the source vertex, which is the source vertex you are considering, and we get the result, that is the distance from source vertex to all the other vertex. So whatever is the distance that we get. So since there is no negative weights edge cycle here, but in this we have a negative edge cycle. So if a graph contains a negative edge cycle, enter the source vertex as 1, and the once you enter the source vertex, if there is a negative edge cycle, it gives the negative edge cycle. Along with that, we are printing the values. Okay, that is the distance from source vertex 1 to all the 4 vertex. So this is about the Bellman-Ford algorithm. Thank you, students.